All right, welcome back. It's the Avid Investor Podcast with me, your host, Josh Adamek. And today we're going to talk about how to find the deal of a lifetime. Where's it at? How do you get it? Hear that often. A lot of times, I'm working on something, working on a project, working on a development, commercial building, single family home. We do a lot of single family homes. And people ask me, how'd you find that? How'd you find that? How can I find it? So I'm going to dive into the details on this episode on how you find the deal of a lifetime. So, but before I get into that, if you're watching on video, I just wanted to throw it out there that I'm wearing my DAs, my David Allen. Reason for that is you'll see that a lot on my videos. I wear the David Allen gear, and reason for that is David Allen is a friend of mine. He's a local guy, Pittsburgh guy. Started his business years ago with nothing. Started from zero, grew it up. Now he's doing crazy things. Custom suits, athletic wear, lounge wear, things like that. All through the NFL, all through the WWE. He's putting suits on all these guys. All across the country. Athletes. Musicians, all over the place. He's just doing crazy things. So shout out to David Allen, and you'll see that we support David Allen just like we support all our other friends that are small business owners. Like I said before, we rise by lifting others. So if my friend sells clothes, that's the clothes I'm wearing. If my friend sells a restaurant or owns a restaurant, that's where we're eating lunch. That's where we're eating dinner. So we support each other. That's what we do, and it's very important. So just a shout out to all the other entrepreneurs and small business owners that are out there that are inspiring to do great things or doing great things and continuing to work through the hard times to get to the good times, get to the great times. Just a shout out and just wanted to throw it out there that it's important to support our friends and our fellow business owners and entrepreneurs, regardless of what business it is and regardless of how you can support them. It's very important, whether it's buying their gear, eating at their restaurants, sharing their stuff on social media, cross promoting, whatever you got to do. I mean, again, we rise by lifting others. So, just wanted to throw that out there, not to get too far off topic, but I think it's very important that we get that message out there too. So, to lead into the topic of today's discussion, is how do you find the deal of a lifetime? So I get that a lot of times, often. I'm working on a new build, in Mount Washington, beautiful city views, great location, or I'm working on something, down in Lawrenceville where it's like prime location, prime build, prime spot to build. You see, even, on the single family homes, which we do a lot of, regular houses, regular neighborhoods, will be, I'll post something up there and, I'll start going back and forth with somebody or whatever. I'll be working with somebody and they'll say, well, how'd you find this? How'd you find this? So here's the reality. If you're in the business full time, if this is what you do, if this is what you want to do, if you want to be a full-time real estate investor, if you want to build a portfolio, you want to be a developer, you want to be a flipper, whatever you want to do. If you're in it every single day, like you need to be, if you're doing your marketing, you got your lead generation, you got your different buckets that you have, your different funnels that are bringing leads to you. In reality, if you look at enough crap, if you look at enough leads, you're going to sift through all the garbage and find the good ones. So there's no magic wand. There's no perfect way to market for a property or for a specific type of property or type of investment. There's no way to flip a switch and go out there and, next thing you know, you're going to have, 10 phenomenal opportunities just come across your desk. Like, it doesn't exist. The reality is, when you're in business, you need lead generation. You got to look at a lot of crap. And if you open, the old saying, like, if you open enough oysters, you're bound to find the pearl. So that's exactly what we do. At Avid Management Group, we literally look at thousands of leads every year, like thousands of leads from different sources, whether that be the MLS, whether that be off market, whether that be through off market through wholesalers, whether that's through our own marketing, whether, whatever. We have all these different funnels that bring us leads. And the reality is you got to sift through a lot of crap to find the good stuff. So if you're in it every day, if you have your marketing set up, you have your different funnels, and you're consistent. Consistency is key. You gotta be in it day after day after day after day. If your goal is to be full time and build a big portfolio and do big projects, do big things, to find the good stuff, you got to go through the crap. So again, we have literally thousands of leads that come in every year. We whittle that down, and we literally go physically look at, probably a couple hundred properties every single year. I mean, almost daily, we're out looking at different properties because we have our leads come in. You can sort through them pretty quick. No, that's garbage. Doesn't work. If it's a lead that makes sense, that through our lead generation, maybe it's something that doesn't make sense for us, but we can pass it on to somebody else, where they can monetize that lead. So, there's a little bit of trade-off there, but, like I said, in reality, you need those funnels. You got to start at the top. You got to have the funnel. You got to sift through the crap, and then you get to the stuff that makes sense. So, like I said, literally thousands of houses, thousands of leads we look at every year. Whether that's the MLS, whether that's through our direct marketing, whether that's coming from wholesalers, our direct marketing, like I said, which is our mailers, some internet stuff, some click funnels that we use. We go through all those leads. Then we find the stuff that makes sense for us. Then we'll go out, we'll look at a couple hundred houses every year, maybe a dozen or 24 houses every week, sometimes more, sometimes less. We go out and physically look at them. We meet with the wholesaler, we meet with the seller. So you found a lead that makes sense. You got to go look at the property, verify that it makes sense, inspect the property, underwrite the deal, do your repair sheet. Oftentimes you'll get to the house and there's a foundation issue that you didn't know about, or there's it's the neighboring property's a piece of crap, or, there's some variable where it's like, this doesn't make sense, it doesn't work. So you go on to the next, or you work your numbers and try to make it work. So, oftentimes you talk to somebody, you might talk to a wholesaler or a seller. It's like, it needs a little bit of work, and you go out there and it needs, $100,000. Well, that's not a little bit of work. That's a major rehab. So you got to work your numbers backwards. One, do I want to take on this project? Do I want to take on this scope of work? Two, does it make sense? Three, is time value of money there in the project? So you got to evaluate the deal as a whole. And if you do that enough, if you have your processes and your systems in place, if you spend enough time looking at crap, you're going to find the good stuff. And that's just the reality. That's just the reality of the business. So like I said, there's no magic wand. There's no magical system. There's no perfect click funnel that's just going to dump, grade A leads on your desk every day, where you can just take them down, flip them, whatever, make all this money that you might hear about on a sales pitch or a presentation. The fact of the matter is, you got to get off your ass. You got to go. You got to be in it. Like, you got to be in it. You have to physically be in it, or you have to have your team that is in it every day, looking at crap to get the good stuff. And the reality is, a good friend and mentor of mine said this a while back. He's like, when you're in this business full time, the reality is you find the deal of a lifetime about once a year. And that holds true. I mean, we look at a lot of stuff. We look at, like I said, thousands of leads every year. I don't have an exact count, but we look at literally hundreds of properties, go out and look at hundreds of properties, meet with the sellers, meet with the wholesalers, whatever. We buy a lot of those, but we don't buy them all. We buy a lot of properties that make sense, that the numbers work, but out of those properties that, fall within our buy box, there are a few like rock star properties that stand out. It's like, and it's like, holy shit, how did we get that? Or, people look at that deal and it's like, how did you find that one? Well, we found that one because we do it every day, all day, every day. That's what we do. We're constantly, running. We're constantly looking at opportunities. We're constantly, reworking, revamping our marketing, testing different types of marketing. We're constantly building relationships with new wholesalers, new agents that, may bring us some opportunities. So we're out there, we're working it. And that's the bottom line. Like, you just got to do it. So, again, there's no magic pill or no magic, no magic wand. There's no, click funnel or there's no way to just flip a switch and all of a sudden you got all these great deals coming in. The reality is you got to put the work in. You've got to put the effort in. You have to have your systems in place. And when you're in it every day doing what you're supposed to be doing, green zone activity, we talked about this before, red zone, green zone activity is, just to refresh, green zone activity is things that make you money, raising money, making written offers, filling properties, converting properties, selling properties, whatever your business model is. Green zone activities are things that make you money. Don't get caught up in the red zone, which is where you think you're being productive. You think you're working, in your business and not on your business. You think you're accomplishing all these great things, but really in reality, what are you doing? You're like focused on like ordering paper clips and, running to the store because you ran out of Post-it notes, or, having lunch with somebody that's not going to be productive for your business, or, you're getting sidetracked. You're out looking at properties. Next thing you know, you're caught up at the mall for 2 hours because you just had to stop and grab a couple of things. Well, you're wasting time. You're not focused. You're not focused on the task at hand, which the task at hand is to generate revenue and create something, buy properties, add to your portfolio, add value to your portfolio and to your business, add value to, the investors or, the other members of your team. It's your job to add value. And the way you do that is, stay in the green zone activities, green zone all day. So, that's, pretty much the message for today is like, again, I had to touch on this and I'm pretty passionate about this, is because people ask me all the time. They're like, where'd you find that deal? How'd you get that? How the hell did you find that house? And again, the reality is we find it because this is what we do every day, all day. And if you do the same every day, all day, you will find the deal of a lifetime more oftentimes than you would think. So, and to define deal of a lifetime, that's different for everybody. The deal of a lifetime, might be life-changing opportunity, might be one house that generates X in cash flow. Somebody else might look at it and it's a commercial property that's gonna create, that's going to be built up over time and create, generational wealth, like true generational wealth over time. The deal of a lifetime to somebody else might be a wholesale deal that they're going to make a couple $1,000, and that couple $1,000 is going to change their life. I mean, everybody looks at the quote unquote deal of a lifetime differently, but regardless of what your definition of deal of a lifetime is, fact of the matter is, if you're out there every single day, or whatever your allotted time is, if you're part-time in the business and you're focused when you have the time available to go out there and look for opportunities. The reality is, if you consistently work on your deal flow and your lead flow, you're going to find the opportunities that make sense. So, message for today. I know it's a little bit shorter than normal, but I think I feel pretty passionate about this, and just want to relay the message, relay the fact that if you get out there and you do it, you'll find them. You'll find the opportunities. Again, there's no magic wand. There's no magic click funnel. There's no magic online subscription to, some secret website that nobody knows about, where you're going to find all these phenomenal deals and opportunities. Are there click funnels that work? Yes, there's click funnels that work. Absolutely. Is there networking groups, out there on the internet, social media, where you can find opportunities? Yes, absolutely. They're out there. We find deals there. We get deals through click funnels. Do certain types of mailers work? Direct mailers, whether that's postcards or yellow letters or, cards that you send out, whether that, like a thank you note type of card. Absolutely, those work. Do Google AdWords work? Does your website work? Yeah, yes, all those sources work for deal flow, and all of those sources can bring you the deal of a lifetime. But don't expect to build a website, then all of a sudden all these phenomenal deals are coming in. Don't expect to send out one batch of letters or mailers, then all of a sudden you think you're gonna be busy for the next 6 months, working through these deals. Don't expect to subscribe to, a group or an organization, or some secret club that's going to feed you all these deals, because it's not going to happen. The reality is you got to be out there, with different ways, different sources for lead generation, and you got to be working those deals on a daily basis. And yes, I use the bad word work. You got to work for it. You got to earn it. If you want to grow, if you want to be in this business, if you want to be active as an investor, if you want to grow a portfolio, absolutely, it is work. Absolutely, it does take time. You got to put the time in. You got to put the work in. And as you grow, you get to the point you can start adding people to your team and delegating tasks. As you grow a little bit more, you can add another person to your team and start delegating tasks. But at the beginning, if you're just starting out, again, this will be the last time I say it, I promise, but there is no magic wand. There's no magic wand for the deal of a lifetime. You got to be out there working for it. You got to be out there, looking at properties. You got to be the first one. You got to be quick. You got to follow up with your leads. Follow up is key. That's one last thing that I'm going to touch on today is follow up. Oftentimes when I found the deal of a lifetime, it wasn't on immediate contact with the seller. It was 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, a year and a half, 2 years down the road, where I've talked with that seller, and it wasn't a good fit there, or I've talked with that agent or that wholesaler and it wasn't a good fit there. But then 3 months later, either if it was one of my leads, we have 30-day follow-up. So every 30 days, if it's a hot lead or a warm lead, we're going to follow up on it every 30 days. So, I know one deal in particular, it was the 6-month follow-up, where I was able to get, talk with the seller for the 6th or 7th time and, build up that rapport, build up that comfort level to where I could go look at the property, end up getting the property under agreement and close on it. We closed on it about a month later. That was, this deal in particular, this was about 10 years ago, but that was quote unquote the deal of a lifetime, at the time. And the case in point is, the lead came in, didn't work at first. We couldn't make that connection at first. I'm not going to get into too many details, but I knew there was an opportunity there. So I put her on the follow-up list. 30 days later, we spoke again. 30 days later, we spoke again. 30 days later, we spoke again. And at the 6-month mark, I was able to build up enough of a rapport with her to where I could go out, I could see the home, and we ended up, putting an agreement together and closing on the home. So follow-up is key. Many times where, I've had people ask me about, how'd you find this deal? At least, right off the back of my mind, at least a half a dozen examples come to mind where the deal of a lifetime was off of a follow-up that was, 5, 6+ months out that I've talked to these sellers, multiple times between first point of contact and when we got to an agreement. You know, a couple of one deal in particular, it was the market changed. Month one, the deal didn't make sense, and this was closer. I don't have the exact numbers, but this was closer to like a 12-month trail, 8 to 12 months, where I secured the deal. I secured the opportunity. The market has changed, so the numbers didn't make sense when we spoke month one, but when we got out to month 8 or 10, the market has changed, and there were different factors that came into play as well. That was particular. That was a land deal where we built several townhouses, but we ended up, we had that follow up, we had that opportunity, and around the 12-month mark is when we closed on that. So follow up is key. That was one deal. For example, the first one was a single family home. The second one was 4 townhouses that we built, new construction. Several others come to mind where, it's just first point of contact, it's just the circumstances aren't right. Seller wants to sell, but doesn't need to sell. And then, over the course of time, there becomes a need to sell, where circumstances change and we're able to, move quick and close on the opportunity. So again, not to beat a dead horse, but, a lot of times, more oftentimes than not, the quote unquote deal of a lifetime comes from your follow-up. So you can spend all of this money on lead generation. You can spend all this time out looking at houses, or looking at properties, whatever your investment strategy is. You can spend all this time on leads and working those leads. But if you let the leads go in the trash after you look at them and, verify that they don't work for whatever reason, that is a big mistake. And you're leaving a lot of money on the table, a lot of opportunity on the table. So I've seen it time and time again, where the deals are closed on the follow-up, whether that's 3 months, 6 months, or a year out. If a lead is, have your CRM, or, however you track your leads, just ping them for a 30-day follow-up, 60-day follow-up, 90-day follow-up. You probably have, you may have a tracking software where it's warm, cold, hot, or whatever it's labeled as. But if you got your warm leads, move it, and you talk to it, it's not the right time, not the right time, not the right terms, move it to the 30-day follow-up, move it to the 60-day follow-up, move it to the 90-day follow-up. And I promise you will find the, again, quote unquote, deal of a lifetime. Many of those will come from your follow-up. So that's it. That's my message for today. I just felt the need to touch on that. And I thank you guys for tuning in, for listening. And again, I'm not asking for anything in return here other than if you find value in this message, do me a favor and share it. I think there's a way to subscribe, depending on which platform you're listening on. But we're trying to get these episodes out here daily, and provide value for you guys. So if you do find value in the message that's being delivered, just share it on social media, share it with a friend, text it, email it, mention it to anyone. And if you have any feedback, please give me your feedback. You can send me a direct message on Instagram or Facebook, or whatever platform we're on here, but give me some feedback. If you'd like me to touch on something, in a future podcast, in a future recording, send me a message. I'd love to hear, what you'd like us to talk about and cover here. So again, that's it. I thank you guys for tuning in. Can't thank you enough. Appreciate your time. Appreciate the fact that you carve 20, 30 minutes out of your day to listen to me and the message that we're delivering. So with that, we're going to end it. Thank you so much.